Hello, Team DoubleGDP. I'm joining you from the brand new training facilities of our growing company. For some reason, we have math on the chalkboard, but we will change that to computer code very shortly. I want to take you through today our first run of training for security guards that we intend to deliver October 12th. Poniso, that is something that we need to check with you on actual date, but that is sort of what I'm thinking as of the moment. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see that. And now you should have access. Now you should be able to see the security guard training. So today in this video, what I want to do is take you through what we're planning to do for the training. And this is to help make sure we're all on the same page and give me a dry run of the training and solicit input from anybody watching. So I think the agenda of the training, we want to go through the purpose and goals and make sure that we introduce the security guards to why we're here. Talk a little bit about who we are and how we relate to Nkwashi. I'm not sure whether security guards will come in with the context of knowing a lot about Nkwashi. So that is another question that we should probably discuss at some point is whether we want to introduce, if we want to do more introduction to Nkwashi. I'm assuming that they have some familiarity, but not much. Give an overview of the application. We've actually changed the sign in and out. So guard login here. But we want to take the guards through the first login and then talk about what it means to be a first-time guest and a returning guest, and then go through questions and answers. So before we dive right in, I want to share that the purpose of all of this is that we want to create a welcoming, convenient, and secure experience for guests that are visiting in Nkwashi. So anybody that shows up, we want to be welcoming. We want it to be easy to get in and out if they should be allowed. But we also want to make sure that people are secure when they come. So the goals for that then are that we want to make sure that security guards understand why their role is so vital, that they understand the policies. And in this, for the purposes of this presentation, I have put together what I think are going to be policies, but I think it's something that Ponisa, when we run this through with you, we need to address and make sure that we have any policies correct here. That we know how people are going to use the app and that they can get help if needed. So a little bit about Nkwashi and DoubleGDP. So Nkwashi is a pioneering city, creating a great place for residents to live, work, and play. So we are trying to attract people from all over Zambia and maybe even from other places in the world. We want this to be presented and viewed as a very innovative city. And one that is going to be a wonderful place for people to live. We recognize that the residents who are coming now are people who are very pioneering and who are choosing to invest a big part of their lives in moving to Nkwashi. And so we want to make sure that that is rewarded by great service. DoubleGDP is a company based in San Francisco that is building an application to provide security access and resident communications very soon. So for now, it's the application that people will use to get into Nkwashi. And very shortly, it should be one that is that they can also use to communicate with the city. And a note to the guards, we want input. We are making updates to the application every 2 weeks, and we're going to be there in November in order to visit. And we want to make sure that that you have what you need. So if there's anything that we can do to make your life easier or features that you think would be useful to provide a more welcoming, convenient, and secure application or experience for guests as they come to Nkwashi, we would really like to hear that. So a little bit about the security policies then. I think here I've taken a stab at this, but I think that this is something that we should discuss as a team and make sure sort of fits what we want to do. But I think the policy one is we want to be welcoming and secure. I think there's a nice balance there. All guests must be registered. We don't want anybody to come into the property unless they are registered in the application. And we want to use the app for all gate entries. So I think the first time we show up with the app, that'll be something that, that we need to get them registered. And once they're there, we want to make sure that they're using their phones to access the application. And even with that, anytime a resident is visiting, we want to make sure that they have an escort, and Poniso is planning to be that escort for now. So somebody from Nkwashi will be there to show them around. So what is the app? There are 3 major user groups within the app. We're connecting the security guards with the guests and the administration. So we're creating an end-to-end flow that allows those 3 groups to talk together. For security guards, this is a way to confirm the guest access, to take the profile picture, and to coordinate with the administrative team for anything that is necessary. For the guests, it is something that they can show their ID at the gate, and very soon they should be able to ask questions of the administrative team. And for the administrative team, it is a way that they can know to escort new residents and approve access to the city once it's somebody that they know should have access. The goal, so now we're going to actually log into the application together as a team. So for guards, this is where you should get out, this part of the training, we'll have guards get out the phones. We should have 6 phones for them to log into, and we want to get them started on the phone. So in order to log in, they'll open the Chrome application and enter dgdp.site. Mark, this is something that I think we need to confirm and make sure we have the right address here. So I'm just going to take a quick note to confirm that. And just to make sure that that is in fact the way that we want to have people enter the app. Once they're there, they should see the welcome screen and then be able to log in with the device's phone number. To Mark and Ahmed, this is also something where, as I was preparing the training material, I think this is probably going to be the way to go, but I have an open comment for the 2 of you that we should discuss as a team. So here, I think that rather than using a guard's personal number, I think it's going to be a lot easier for guards to use the number of the phone, and then we don't have to worry about logging in or out. But there are some trade-offs around that I think are worth discussing. I'm also a little unclear on how passwords are going to be handed out or how people should use passwords when one doesn't yet exist. So for now, I'm assuming that we're going to have some sort of welcome email or sign-in thing that we've distributed in advance that has the password information. Logging out. So thanks, Google is reminding me that this slide is being skipped. I think that with the process of logging in with the device's phone number, we no longer need to have people log out, which is what we were initially expecting. So then we want to talk through what it takes to do the first time guests. So this is a new guest is showing up at the gate. This could be a contractor, it could be a resident, it could be an investor, somebody from the administrative team, but I'm assuming this is the first time that they show up. The goals here are that people should feel welcome. The goal of this training is also for a guard, for you to understand what you should do. We want to make sure that people then register for the app so that they are, so that when they come back the second time, it's an even more convenient process for them. And then once they register, it should make it easier as a returning guest. So what do first-time guests need? First of all, this should be, let me just take a quick note. I think it'd be useful here to say who are our first-time guests. So they can be residents, contractors, passers-by, anybody who's coming to Nkwashi, but we're assuming that it's the first time that they're doing that. So the process that you follow is, of course, say hello and greet warmly. And you should first ask, have you been registered? Do you have the Nkwashi app? I think actually we might want to phrase this a little differently. Are you registered with Nkwashi? Have you been here before, essentially? If they say yes, then you should go to the return user process. This process is only for first-time guests. return, and let's say return guest here. So assuming that this is their first time here, then we want to say that we want to actually look and see if they're already in the system. So the plan here is that anybody that we know should have access to the system, we want to pre-load this. And I think actually, this reminds me we need to take a note here that we need to make sure that we get this from Poniso. Okay, so we should get a list of those known users and make sure that that is registered. But for the guard, we are assuming that most of the people that you should find here are actually going to show up. So in what this looks like is in step 4A, you're going to come here and use the search dialog box, and then as you start typing, you should see the names of people show up in the list. Once you click on the name, you should come to a screen here that will show the name, but it won't have a photo. And so you need to tap this first button and take a picture of that person so that you can add it into the application. We do have a space here for the vehicle and for the ID. As of right now, I think we're not planning to use that in this first go round, but I think that very shortly we want to look for ways to begin adding that information. But if that's convenient to take, I'd suggest that we go ahead and log it. So most likely, if everything goes according to plan, what you will do is you will get a pending result where you should now have the picture that you just took, the name, and an expiration date that is far in the future. And the status will say pending. Now, I will show you what that's doing is that's triggering a request to Poniso to approve that and letting him know that there is somebody new waiting for them. On the chance that this is not found, that is where you should actually call Poniso. That means that this is a person that we don't yet know about. You still should go through, you still should have gone through this flow to put that information into the system. But as soon as you do, it will show up as a nothing found, and that for now the access is denied. That will be something that then we need to talk through with Poniso. Poniso's decision, he's going to have a screen that looks like this. So this is a screen that Poniso has, but guards do not. He's going to be reviewing users on a screen that looks like this. When he clicks in on the user, he's going to come to a screen that looks like this, where it'll tell what that is and any information that the guard has collected at the gate. And he will have the option to either grant or deny access for that user. If it is a resident, Poniso needs to take them on a tour. So we want residents to have a very welcoming experience and not just to be walking around the site on their own. And so that means a little inconvenience where at the gate they have to wait a little bit for Poniso to come. But at the same time, it means that they're going to get a guided tour and we can show them all the new things that are in development and help them have a great experience coming to Nkwashi. So that's it for the first time guests. Let's talk about if somebody has been there before and now they're returning. So the goals here are to make it quick and easy and to make it secure for people to come to the site. So first of all, this means that the guests need to do something on their phone, that we're assuming that they do have a phone, and we'll talk a little bit later about what to do if they don't have a phone. But if they do, they need to open a web browser, and they're going to go to https://dgdp.site. And then once they do, they should see the welcome screen here for Nkwashi, and they'll log in with the phone number and password. Again, Mark and Ahmed, this is something I think we need to talk about to figure out what happens and how that person is getting the password on their very first goal. That's a little unclear to me, so let's come back to that. And here for the guards, there are 4 statuses that I think, oh, that's, Oh, there's actually a missing step here. We need to have a step that is scan the QR code. So I will add that one. And then record an addendum to this. And once they scan the QR code, you should get a screen that looks like this that has one of these 4 statuses. And then based on this, on the 4 statuses, that is, here are the instructions of what to do. So if it's a valid status, that means just let them in, and you can log this entry. You press this green button here to log and let the system know that they have entered the property. That's most likely going to be for contractors. So most contractors should get that. You may also see a message saying expiring soon. And if you do, you'll get a button that says you can request an extension, and that will go to Poniso to extend their stay. And or it might say expired or banned, in which case you need to call Poniso or notify Poniso that there's somebody that's trying to get in that we've already told should not be allowed in. Hopefully we don't get a lot of those, but we will start looking at that when and if that happens, and talk about the reasons why, and see if we can add some more UI around that. So there are some things that we know may already arise, and we want to talk through what those are. I think issues that we already know of are that a user may not have a phone, in which case we have a pre-printed ID badge for them to use. I think we still need to talk through exactly when or how this process is going to be run, where these badges need to get printed, and sort of how you hand them. And I think from a design perspective, we need to figure out what happens if you do have that how you register the QR code from the badge to a particular account. I think it's also possible that we could get an influx of people very quickly, and we need to figure out exactly what that is gonna look like. I think Poniso, that is probably a question to deal with you. And then we have some other error handling things. I won't talk through all of them here, but I think we may talk through some of those, and if anything else happens, we need to. You guys can just email me or communicate with me on WhatsApp, and we will work with you quickly to resolve whatever those issues are. So that's it. I'll add a goodbye and thank you slide, but for the team, I look forward to talking through this with you shortly. All right, bye-bye.